YouTube. Yeah, baby, a couple minutes early. We're going to hop on and get this done. So this is the amenities for this evening. So I've not seen this stuff before. And for any of you whiskey drinkers, you can see this down here. This thing is aged in four times casked. So 4 different barrels. We got a port, a sherry, a bourbon, and then a double charred oak. So this is super tasty. This is really and quickly becoming a very new favorite. What's up, Camo? Welcome. Titan, what's going on? Brewer Boys, what is going on? Melina's in the house. What's going on? Joe. Hey, man, thanks for sharing the subscriber video or the 1,500 subscriber video, the giveaway video, whatever you want to call it.
Much appreciated.
Really appreciate that, big time. So we're going to pour a couple drinks. We're going to take a look. The xanthic clutch that we cut is finally all out of the egg. Took them forever. We're going to take a look at those guys. And while we're doing that kind of have a little chat about what can happen with eggs, in the incubator, and then what kind of mitigation things do you do with those. So, and I'm basically just going to talk on experience and what we've done with the couple things that we've had where we've had either lost eggs and had to salvage the clutch or had salvaged eggs. What's going on, Kevin? Welcome. But before I get too far to that,
he explained his drink.
Yeah, well, you gotta carry your own weight.
So this is Guava Goes? Is that how you say it? Goes. It's by Collective Arts. I've been on a kind of a Collective Arts rampage lately. I've been drinking a lot of it lately. So it's an ale brewed with guava, coriander, and Himalayan salt. It's not too bad. Pour that over here.
Interesting information.
Oh, you make me spill my beer.
Very well. James, what's going on? Ballers, what's going on? Dave, Mark, welcome. So the unique thing about tonight, and we very well may see her on here shortly, is my wife is currently in Hawaii, and I am stuck here in Connecticut.
Stuck here.
I am stuck here in Connecticut. So we might see her on there. So she typically will sign on and watch the videos. So if you do see that, note to self, she is dialing in from Hawaii. So they're like 6 hours behind us, so it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon for them. So just a little note. So while Matt wipes that up and then grabs his clutch, we're going to talk a little bit about some incubation stuff. We've had a couple occasions where we've had issues with eggs. One of those occasions is one of the eggs started to weep. So what's going on, Marshall? Hecto, welcome. And by weeping, when you look at the egg, part of the amniotic fluid that's in the egg was starting to like bubble up or weep, start to come out of the egg. So our resolve for that, or fix for that, was Elmer's glue. So we took a little bit of the white Elmer's glue, rubbed it over the egg on that area, and that essentially creates a like a new surface. Depending on the severity of that, sometimes if you're separating eggs and you tear them a little bit, if it's a little bit, a lot of times the amniotic fluid itself will go ahead and seal the egg on its own without any intervention. This egg, it just kept weeping, and it looked like that area of the egg was thin. So we applied some Elmer's glue on there. It held, it did fine, and that egg hatched, and we had no problems. Then Matt's going to kind of go through what he thinks he's got here.
All right. So, I think that I got these in the right order. All right. So, Out of the visuals we got 3 girls and 1 boy that we know that we can tell so far. We're gonna sex them a few times just to make sure. So I believe this here is a this is the pastel fire here, I believe. So this is a firefly. Maybe yellow belly. It's gonna be hard to tell. We gotta wait until we get a little bit of a shed. This one here, I believe, is a fire yellow belly, xanthic. These are the 2 that are going to be staying behind. One's a boy, one's a girl. And then this one here, we believe this little tiny one compared to everybody else. We believe this is a yellow belly xanthic. This is a female. And then this here,
There's the fire.
I think it's just either
But
straight.
the head stamps are the same. So this one
This
may
is
end up
really
being
dark.
a fire yellow belly. It is a little darker, but again,
And like, well, looking at it,
some can be ahead of the others, a little behind in pigmentation coming in, which is why in the beginning stages it's really hard to tell sometimes what certain animals are, because these guys will continue to get pigment that they'll develop right up until like their first shed, and then it'll slow down a little bit, but it will continue to progress for several sheds till they're like, 600 grams, 1,000 grams.
I will have to say that this one here, when I looked up I was looking up yellow belly xanthics on Morph Market. They had a VPI, and this one looks very similar to that one. So I'm close to believing that one's going to be yellow belly. Like, we just got to really let them shed, just make sure. But we originally thought we had 6 visuals, just because of some of the color hadn't come in on a couple of the snakes, and we actually only had 4. So we didn't quite meet the odds of the clutch. We didn't get half. We got 40%. But they look good. I like them. Just got to wait for them to shed now.
What's up, Kai? Welcome. Thank you very much.
Now we got some crazy little guys here.
So back to talking about eggs a little bit in incubation. I think the biggest one that most people are going to experience is probably molding eggs. A lot of times eggs will mold to a degree and they'll be completely fine. Unless the mold for us starts to jump off the egg onto other eggs, which most times in our experience anyway, it doesn't typically do that, or it hasn't too often. I just leave it alone, and I have a clutch that's upcoming that one of the eggs died right away, and it's all nasty and molded out, and all the other ones around it are still touching and they're fine. If it does start to jump and you're overly concerned, you can use like tenactin. You can sprinkle some tenactin on it. Try to brush a lot of the mold off first, and then sprinkle a little bit of that tenactin on there. That'll help stave off some of the development of that kind of stuff. But most of the time, unless it's really, really bad, we don't really mess with them.
Right. All right, so these 2, the pattern's a little bit different. I believe this one to be a pastel yellow belly. Head xanthic, of course. Everything will be 100%.
And we are working with SK. Hey, hon. Thanks for dialing in all the way in Hawaii.
This one, the pattern's similar. So that one might be another pastel yellow belly, looking at the belly a little bit. So two pastel yellow bellies. These I haven't sexed yet. I was really more curious with the visuals, so I don't know what I have for boys and girls here. This here, what would you say that is?
And you can tell some of these guys. I already gave you my answers before. I think it's a little early on
True.
some of this stuff.
We're guessing as of right now a little bit.
And you'll see some lumpiness in their bellies. A lot of these guys still have a fair amount of yolk that it's like inside. That's their nutrient. You can see that right there.
I think we were saying these 2 were fires over here, right?
Yeah,
So
they got the head stamp.
This one's got a head stamp. Not much going on. A little bit on the belly, but not. A little bit of checkering.
Yeah, I don't think that's yellow belly though.
No, probably another fire.
Yeah.
So 3 fires, and this one's coming up to check him out.
Thanks, TNT. Let's see. Marshall said he's experimenting with an egg by spraying F10 lightly on a towel and then wiping the egg. Yeah, I've heard stuff like that as well. That's a cool little pattern right there.
Oh yeah, a little.
For us, what makes it challenging with some of that though is that how they lay is how they stay kind of thing. By the time, like if you're not separating the eggs out in the beginning, by the time they start to develop issues or can potentially develop issues, they are so stuck together that it's a major task to get them apart, and you would definitely risk, pulling holes into the eggs, which we try very hard not to do. As most people try very hard not to do. I'm going to put this down because Matt and I are going to switch spots.
But yeah, so that's the clutch. So hopefully in 10 days or so.
Yeah, they'll shed, and we'll get a really good look at things. So we are going to cut a couple clutches tonight. The first one is the one that was up on the title. This is an Enchi Albino to the Resurrection gene. So I've not been able to find pictures at all. There's not a lot of pictures with the Resurrection gene anyway.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. reading comments, not paying attention. My bad.
And the few handful that are out there, Enchi is just not one of them. So that one is really kind of on time and on schedule. The next clutch is I am cutting about 3 days early. They looked way far advanced compared to the first clutch I'm going to cut, which was making me a little nervous. And when I opened the lid tonight, the eggs seemed very dry. So I just want to cut them to make sure they're not dried up inside. If you watch Billy from Mutation Creation, he had some that were really dry when he cut, and that kind of makes me nervous. So if they are drying up inside, I want to be able to get some water in there so they have enough moisture to continue to develop. So they may be cut, but they'll be in the incubator. And our incubator is in the basement, and it's pitch black in there, and there's no lights on or anything. So even though we cut the eggs and they go back in the incubator, it's not up here. It doesn't have daylight. It doesn't have any of that. So there's nothing really to draw them out of the egg or to spawn their curiosity. So most of the time they actually do stay in the egg for, the appropriate
A few
time.
days, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the agenda. And I was kind of back and forth on whether I was going to cut the second clutch or wait. And it was making me too nervous, so I just decided to cut it. But this first clutch is really nice. Really big eggs.
Boom.
Yep, this girl she is not a first-year girl, so she has some experience. However, she did not go for us last year and was kind of slow to get eating and stuff like that. So she gave us eggs, but it wasn't like her best.
Yeah.
But she is chowing like mad now that she is back, building things up here. And
So pretty much out of here, Resurrection, Enchi, normal stuff.
Yeah.
That you could hit, or a combination of the two.
Yeah, it looks like a normal.
Maybe
No.
Is there enough color in there? No.
There's color in there, but that's a normal.
Yeah.
There's a lot of snake in there, though.
That a big old snake.
Yeah.
Look how big that snake is. Boom.
Maybe there's two in there.
Well, maybe you're lucky and hitting a set of twins. We haven't hit one in a while.
I hit one once. The first clutch I ever produced had twins in it. I had 6 eggs, 7 snakes, and they weren't identical. So
it was the quad.
Yeah.
Our quad boy. He was one of them.
Yeah.
And the female too was the one you kept, right? She was the other twin, right?
I kept both of them.
Yeah.
So this will be the Resurrection gene. It's a slightly, I know.
I think it's gonna be the opposite. This will be the normal.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that'll
you're
be
right.
the.
All right, so this is, yeah, absolutely. It has the amped in color and everything else.
So normal, hidden gene that we're not.
Hidden gene? It's not a hidden
It's
gene.
not a hidden gene, but it's
the
a
top secret gene.
top secret gene. Yeah.
I would like some Enchi combo here, though. That would be nice.
I know, right?
And
did you hit it with that one?
yeah, that's not a normal. You look at that head. That head is very, very different. That may be an Enchi something, but that head is all kind of blushed out.
Yeah, that could be the Enchi Res.
Yeah, that's possible. Again, the looks in this clutch are not going to be.
Because there's a bunch of blushing coming up that
Yeah,
side.
that's at least Enchi, but the head blushing on there is crazy. So I'm going to guess that may be both. And these are all going to be 100% het for albino. So super excited to start working or growing out that part of the project.
Looks like special. Nope, not special.
No, it's definitely not special.
Normal?
Nope.
No, that's.
That head blushing again. I think that may just be Resurrection. You can see that.
Yeah, because I think you got a little bit of pink or more kind of that pink color coming up the side.
Yeah, so you can see that head there.
Good.
Well, we'll see when they come out. But so far, it looks like only one Enchi.
One egg left.
One egg left from this clutch. And good size eggs, just not like a crazy powerhouse clutch. As far as gene stack like we've been seeing that we've been doing here. So that's
Enchi?
another Enchi. Yeah. Oh, that's real bright. That's real clean and real bright compared to that one.
Yeah, that one could be. So the other one could just be a regular Enchi, and then that one.
Yeah, I mean it's near impossible to tell, but this one looks really, really good.
But you also may have the effects of the.
They would all have the same effects, so it's all going to look the
true.
same.
Yeah, that's true.
We should have good visual. Yeah, that looks really good, and a similar color. Yeah, this is definitely cleaner though.
Yep. So.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see when they come out. But again, nothing too fancy or crazy with this clutch. Again, this is more of a
Just a building.
A building clutch for what's to come. This clutch, however.
So these are a few days behind, and
Yeah.
look at these things.
Yeah, so these guys are super, and these are pretty firm. They're still, you can still move them around, but like they're pretty stiff. So it was making me nervous to wait another 3 days that they would just be dried up. It still seems pretty wet, but not as wet as the other one. So I just don't think I had enough fluid in there. But this clutch is craziness, or has the potential to be craziness. So Dad, from a previous clutch this year, is proven pastel Enchi cinnamon, and he's 66% het ghost, which is unproven. And this female is pastel Enchi cinnamon yellow belly, 66% het ghost. So super Cinny's, super Enchi, super pastel with a little bit of yellow belly flavoring in there. And then who knows, maybe we can finally prove out the ghost. Here, let's do this.
Bring that out and.
Yeah. See, that is a little dry. That's pretty wet though.
No,
That's not that dry.
No problem, Going Hooper. So Going Hooper says, "I'm sandbagging this live as I clean. Yell if something crazy happens."
Yeah. All right. Let's see what we have to look at, and I'll throw out a little warning here too, because they're early. There may be some egg yolk in there, which I expect. But with cinnamon to cinnamon, if you're unfamiliar with that pairing, they have a high probability of coming out kinked. We did this pairing like year 2 and it was so bad when it came out of the
Oh yeah,
egg,
you're the one
we
you
had
had.
to
Yep.
euthanize it. So we'll.
Yeah, we had the same thing that happened with the black pastel cinnamon combo.
Yeah, so like developmentally, this still looks good in there. And I don't know, there's some kind of craziness going on. You can see on the sides, they're all floated up and stuff. So it's definitely got some cinnamon in there. I'm definitely not going to muck with these too much. I just want to make sure that they're healthy and that
There's still fluid in there.
Yeah, there's enough fluid in there that they're going to, be able to hang out until they're ready to come out. But a lot of the vein, like if you come out, a lot of the veins are kind of all used up. So there's not a lot of vein left, which is a good indication that they're, coming right up to the end of time in the egg anyway.
Ghost?
That's a ghost. Looks like a ghost.
But it could be just that it hasn't fully colored yet either.
That's true. That's very true. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if that's ghost, and that would prove out mom and dad. It looks like.
Definitely looks ghostish. It's just hard to tell with it being still a little early. Because that one still had a bit of yolk left in the bottom.
Yeah, they both had some.
Super?
Oh,
Super Cinny.
Super Cinny, super pastel. Like there's no color, so unless the color's just not come in,
yeah.
Maybe with a possible Enchi or yellow belly in there, that's cool. And hopefully, developmentally,
the body is good.
The snake is good. The head looks good. On the last one, the nose, when it came out of the egg, was all like, looked like somebody had taken fishing line and tied it around there really tight and pulled it tight, and it had like this little plume for a nose that the animal wouldn't have been able to even.
Oh, you're talking about the one we had?
Yeah, one of the last one. That's exciting. That looks cool.
Going Yoper, we had a Super Cinny, at least.
Yeah, well, Super Cinny Plus, but this looks something similar. Unless it's upside down. Nope, here's another.
Another Super Cinny something,
Super
maybe.
Cinny something. Yeah, this one is definitely darker.
Yeah, so that one might have the pastel in it.
Yeah. So I'm at least happy that like inside the egg they look fine. There's plenty of amniotic fluid and such. I think I was just like kind of in a little bit of a panic mode.
Yeah, and when Jim panics, he panics.
Yeah. And with Ghost in the mix, I mean, who knows?
True. Some of those may, if it proves out. Another one?
Come on, no way. How do you hit an all-white snake with that?
Oh, that could be...
That doesn't even have color, though, dude.
Well, it could still need to come in, or it could be Super Cinny, Super Pastel.
Yeah, but there's no color on this one. Like, I get it with these, maybe, and maybe they got to develop in a little more, but that one's like white. That's a white snake.
Right, which could be the Super Pastel that would totally white it out, right?
Could be the Super Enchi.
Would it?
I don't know. I've never seen a Super Cinny, Super Enchi, Super Pastel.
Well, if it's a Lilac, you wouldn't be able to hit.
You can't, so it's one or the other. So it's either Super Cinnamon, Super Pastel, or Cinnamon Enchi, Super Pastel. Or Super Enchi, Super Pastel.
Right.
But, yeah, if it's
a Lilac.
Which people say the last egg.
Be another Super Cinny.
No. It's a yellow belly, though. Ooh, that's pretty.
Yeah. See, like that one's got some color that's starting to develop a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I feel comfortable with those. Three super somethings. These are at least these two are at least super cinnamon, but that head is like really kind of like there's nothing.
Yeah,
there.
Give it a few days, let them see what happens, and
yeah, and the first one, or not the first one, but the second one, because we couldn't see the first one, that really does look like kind of ghost-like. So That would be nice to prove them both out for Ghost.
Yeah.
What's
up, Mason? Welcome.
Cool. We'll see. That's crazy, though. That pattern is really nice. Yeah. There you have it. Woohoo!
Welcome, Dale. Thanks, Titan. Say congrats.
Thank you.
Welcome, Echo.
I'm just glad. I'm glad that second clutch is healthy. And it looks like developmentally, I was just, I don't know, they're fine, and that I was panicking for no reason.
Hey, you know, when it comes to the life of the animal, it's good to panic.
Well, like I said, you know, they're going to sit in an incubator that's pitch black. You know, it's not in the snake room, so.
So Dave is saying super cinnamon, super pastel ghost on the one that's all white.
Super cinnamon.
Super pastel ghost.
Oh, that would be something else. Huh?
Yeah, I know, right?
Holy crap. That would be a powerhouse to have as a ghost. So you put a pewter ghost into everything.
Yeah.
When it breeds. So, yeah, sweet. Exciting. And relieved at the same time.
Get a better look at it.
Yeah, there's a lot of yolk in there. Again, these are like 3 days early, and they do absorb yolk fast. I cut them ahead of time.
Unless they're like my xanthics and it takes them like 5-6 days to freaking absorb their yolk.
Yeah, no, I mean, entirely possible, but these were super collapsed and very dry compared to a normal clutch. So it would make me a little nervous. So I wanted to cut them to make sure that the amniotic fluid inside wasn't like all dried up, that they were going to be good for another 3 or 4 days.
To answer your question, Mason, we're not 100% sure just because, you know, they are early. You know, there may be some color development that isn't in yet.
There's a lot of color development that's still got to come.
But this was a pastel cinnamon Enchi 66 het ghost.
To a pastel cinnamon Enchi yellow belly 66 het ghost.
So we at least got 3 supers over there. This is something.
They're all something. And that very well may be a ghost. But again, being so early,
fingers crossed.
It's hard to tell. This is a super Cinny super pastel, maybe.
Yeah, because that one seems lighter than that one.
This would be a super cinnamon, maybe pastel. It's not as dark, at least yet, as the one that we had produced before.
And they could have yellow belly sprinkled in there somewhere, maybe.
And this one is like all white. So the speculation was super cinnamon, super pastel ghost, maybe. I don't know. We'll see when it comes out and if we can tell.
That's a yellow belly something.
Yeah, this is it. Looks like another cinnamon, yellow belly. I don't know. Maybe something else in there. I would have to really kind of flip it around in the egg, which I'm not willing to do.
And then the first clutch we cut was the resurrection gene to an Enchi Albino. So we think we got...
That's both.
So yeah,
that is both.
So this one we think is resurrection. This is a normal. We think this is an Enchi resurrection. Normal. And an Enchi.
And they're not really normal. I mean, they're all 100% het for albino.
Right.
But I do believe this is at least an Enchi. We'll have to see when it comes out.
Yep.
That is definitely a normal. That is definitely a normal.
These possibly could be the single gene version of the resurrection gene too, right? Or no, we were saying that was single gene right there.
Yeah. And there looks like there's a lot of snakes in this egg. So it's either one really big snake.
Or there's 2.
Or there's 2. There's a tail. It looks like all one snake.
And just one big old monster snake.
Yeah.
They'll come out eating freaking like rat crawlers. Big old snake there too.
Yeah, this one looks really, really nice.
Thank you, Mason. Appreciate it. Yeah, Melina. Yeah, we can't wait to see all this stuff out of the egg. We can't wait to see this stuff out of the egg. Our other 3 clutches that are sitting off to the side,
Yeah.
waiting for them to shed.
I can grab those real quick.
Oh, you're two?
The
Yeah.
2 that we're waiting to shed, just so you guys can kind of see where they're at and all this stuff.
They're all like deep.
Yeah,
except
really
for one.
Deep, and it's kind of disgusting. So please pardon the mess. We just sprayed it down to keep them wet. But like most of these guys are all smoked out.
Except for that bright ass.
This one's going to be close to getting ready to shed. This will probably be the first one to shed out of here. And this is an OD sugar. So this was an Enchi sugar to an Orange Dream fire clutch. And this was one that we were really puzzled with. And even still, there's more color coming in on this, even through shed. So this has definitely got Orange Dream in it. And then over here there's all kinds of craziness over here.
This was an
this is crazy right there. That's a normal.
So this was an OD Extreme to a Mackenzie Fire.
So this is a Mackenzie. This may be a Mackenzie OD Fire or just a Mackenzie Orange Dream, but you can see that right on the neck there. That's kind of really cool. And there's a lot of. Initially, I didn't see the colors coming in that I see now. There's a lot more orange in this animal, and it's in deep shed. So this very well may change the whole game for what's in here.
OD
Extreme. Really bright. A lot of that tail melting from the Extreme. There is no yellow belly in here. And OD tends to do a lot of this dark stuff along the belly that you see along the sides here. That's pretty common. Come on. This is a fire. So fire. Getting into some crazy stuff here. This is definitely an OD Fire Extreme. I'm even leaning that this is Mackenzie as well. Some of the patterns and blushing up by the head is kind of leaning me that way. So this may be the whole 4-banger right here. But I'm really dying for these guys to get out of this old skin so I can really get a look at what's going on. This is pretty classic Mackenzie Fire, at least. Maybe some Extreme there. I don't see the OD in this. It doesn't have the orange. But Mackenzie Fire Extreme. And then this one here was another OD Extreme, possible OD Fire Extreme. You know, those side tail, the melting there, like that's a good look. It's just crazy. So once these guys shed, which should be in a couple days, there'll be some serious craziness for sure. That's all I got.
Yeah.
That's all I got. I still can't believe there's like possibly, well, there's 3 supers in there. I just don't know exactly what they are.
Right.
And if they end up being all, I'm kind of surprised that I didn't hit like a super Enchi or something like that. And that could just be odds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see when they come out, and we get a look at them when they come out of the egg. And then once they get their first sheds, we'll definitely have a better handle on what we got in there. So
yeah, so today was a wonderful day. We had the Xanthic clutch that came out of the egg, so those were all good. We got them all washed off today. We had the 2 egg clutches that we cut tonight, and we also got some eggs today. So that was cool. So the eggs we got today was a pastel lesser yellow belly to a mahogany albino.
Yeah.
Yep, she gave us 7 healthy eggs, so it was a good day today.
That'll be real good. Yeah, pulled eggs, cut 2 clutches, snakes coming out of the eggs, like a whole bunch of goodness all the way around.
You're feeling good over here.
Yeah. And we shipped 3 snakes today. So
that was great too.
Yeah, so it was like, you know, snake emporium going on. Just all kind of crazy snake stuff. So That's really it for me. Unless you guys got there any questions that are outstanding on there that.
Kevin said, "Awesome job on the clutches, fellas. Thanks for the info on the video and the video."
Yeah, sure enough.
Bronx just did a whole bunch of flames. And Mason is, "I'm working on some super OD stuff this year." Nice.
Yeah, I've got that in the line for next year. So I have a cinnamon OD fire that I'm gonna put to the OD Extreme girl and see if I can get
OD
super
Extreme.
OD Cinny Extremes. With fire.
Can we see the Xanthics?
Yeah, we'll pull them out. We'll switch around.
See them in all their wonderful glory, just kind of hanging out here in the bin. So we, for the people that weren't on earlier, when we cut the clutch, we thought we had 6 visuals. It just turned out that a couple of them hadn't produced much color yet. So we actually hit 4 visuals. And everybody else is a combination of the sort.
Yep, so either fire, yellow belly,
some pastel in there.
Some pastel. No, surprisingly, no fireflies.
Yeah.
At least that we can tell. So.
And then these were our visuals.
You want to bring them out? Thanks, Interstellar. Appreciate that.
So these will be the 2 that are staying behind. So projected thoughts that we think we have. We think yellow belly, a fire, a pastel yellow belly here, and then, or no, a pastel yellow belly here, and then a pastel, like maybe a pastel fire, maybe. Maybe this might be a firefly, I don't know. I got to get some sheds on them, or one shed, so they get some color, see what they look like. But they do get some of the checkering down on the bottom, so leaning towards the yellow belly. But yeah, they look good. Just need that one initial shed so that you get that nice white and black contrast.
Thanks, Gomez. Appreciate it. Yeah, these, even though we didn't hit 6, we'll still take 4.
Yep.
And to get a good split, the one male that we're looking for and have 3 females to pick from is awesome. So we're super amped to have choices. It's always great to have choices. And then have, a couple to make available for people that are looking for them as well. So.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, they all look good.
And this is the SK line, so all these animals that aren't visual will be 100% het. So the TSK stuff, Echo, is what we work with. Same thing that John Dagg works with, Art DeJacqueline works with, Greg Graziani had also worked with. So definitely popular and available, just not as popular as VPI, and they do not work together. So they,
right.
If you have a VPI and you pair it to a TSK, you're making double hets. You are not going to get visuals. So, yeah, there's some good color over here.
Yeah, like these guys. This one looks really good, really bright.
Yeah.
The one under here, it's got some nice bright colors to it.
Yep. Yeah, so once we get a shed, you guys will definitely see these guys again. We'll bring them all out, all 3 clutches, and let you guys get some eyes on them and see what they look like after they've had their first shed, and we'll have a better idea of exactly what we're working with.
We'll get these guys back into the humidity so they don't dry out.
Yeah.
But yeah, love working with snakes.
A lot of fun.
So, anything else, guys?
I've got nothing here.
Oh, nobody has anything. I think that'll pretty much do it for us tonight.
Thanks, ballers. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we're liking the odds that we're hitting this year. It's definitely it's definitely been a really a better year for Jim this year compared to last year for odds wise.
Yeah, I went through and counted females that were left to go this year, and I'm right around 10 or 11. And those are girls that are, that have ovulated and shed, with 2 or 3 that look like they're pretty close to that. So that'll put myself at like 26, 27 clutches, and then Matt is.
I'll be lucky if I break 10.
Take care, Mason. Thanks for stopping in. We really appreciate it.
I have a few girls that are first year girls, so they may not go. And then my puzzle stuff is being kind of.
Thanks, Hetco. I appreciate that, man.
They're being a little stubborn this year.
A lot of hard work the past 2 or 3 years to just to get to this season. So.
Right. So I'll be happy if I can break into this double digits. If I can hit 10, I'll be happy with that. If not, moving on to the next year and figuring out what we can do next year. You got anything? No? All right. So our next cutting. When is our next cutting? We'll have a. No, I think we'll have a live video before our next.
We'll probably end up doing an update, a live update on the clutches. That'll probably come before we do another live cutting. However, I think it's a double clutch.
Yep.
So we have 2 clutches that were on the same day, and those will.
Ooh, and that's going to be some cool stuff. That's going to be the Resurrection to the Mackenzie Fire, and the Butter Extreme to the GHI Leopard Posset Pied. So that's June 9th is their
projected date.
Unless they pip early, then we're videoing it early. So.
Yeah, and again, I don't know what day the 9th is, but I will not ever cut on a Wednesday, so it will probably be a Tuesday or a Thursday.
It's a Tuesday.
Perfect. So we'll be right on point. So again, the next live stream we'll pull together once we get a couple clutches that have shed out. So you guys can take a look at those last 2 clutches, and then June 9th for you guys to check out those clutches once we cut them. So thanks everybody for sticking around and hanging in here and showing up, time and time again. We really appreciate all the support. And for you guys that are still here, we do have a 1,500 subscriber giveaway. We are about 50 people away from hitting 1,500. Once we do, we're giving away a pair of double het albino pieds, a male and a female. So definitely, if you haven't subscribed here, do that. Hit the bell. Go find that video. It was just Joe did a great job of posting it all over Facebook today. And we even shared that back around again. Go check that out. Give us a follow. Enter yourself into the the drawing and see if you win a pair.
And cheers.
Cheers.
And we'll
see you on the next one.
Take
Peace.
Care.